Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Edna J. White, and you are on the channel of Second Chance Incorporated. We are a supportive and loving counseling resource that promotes sexual abuse prevention to the youth and help adults recover from childhood sexual abuse. Today, I want to talk to you about moving on and why you are stuck where you are. Most of the time when we want to move on, we know we want to move on. I know when I wanted to move on, I felt I wanted to move on, but I just didn't know how to move on. Well, I had to check myself a whole lot because I thought moving on meant realizing that I had to move on. But in actuality, I had to realize two things. And those two things were what my real intent was for moving on and what it was that I was moving on to. I didn't realize those two things, So I made a plan of how I was going to do it, who I was going to do it with, but I didn't have a plan in what I was going to do. I had this grandiose feeling, I'm going to help the world, as most of us do. And I've heard from most of my clients and people who email me, I want to help the world. Oh, that's great. So does millions of people, but do you see millions kind of doing that? No. Do you see millions doing the same exact thing? No. I had to learn that the universe was responding to what I was saying. I want to help the world. So I started helping everybody, but I did not receive anything from it. I did not receive satisfaction. I was still confused, and I did not receive pay for it. So I began to dull down, okay, what is my problem? See, the thing is we are so very afraid of getting the answers that we need. That's why we run to different people and ask them the question, what do you think I'm good for? What do you think my purpose is? We're asking all these people questions that you can answer. But you don't want to answer it because, number one, and let's be real, you don't want to be responsible to do something about it. And number two, you are uncertain about yourself. You know that you can do it, but this bad self-talk or the negative self-talk is saying you can't do that, or you've listened to and accepted what someone else has inflicted into your life. So you accepted that. But let's get back to, addressing yourself with the questions, being real with yourself. When you start being real with yourself, when you start saying, no, I can't do that, I can do that. Yes, I want to go there. I don't want to do that. When you start doing that and not just thinking it, but saying it, say, no, that's not for me. Yes, I would love to do that. And do you think that I could? When you start directing yourself, putting directions and not limits, but focusing what you really want out of life, because no one has ever asked you, Edna, what do you want? They would never ask you that. They would say, well, this is what they'll prophesy into your life. How do you prophesy into someone who's already has God in them, whose God is talking to? It's two negatives pushing against each other. It's what you want for me, but not what I want for myself. And I'll give you a perfect example. I was at church one time, and I was in the prayer line, and the minister came up to me. His description was, he was short, about 5'5", and he was maybe 350 pounds. Very nice man. I walk up to the line, and he prayed for me. Then he said to me, "Well, you like big husky men." I immediately opened my eyes and I was like, "What?" And he says, "You like real husky men, someone like my size." In my head, I said, "That is not what I want. I want someone who's healthy and who cares about themselves, who is physically, emotionally, and mentally able to enjoy life along with me." So I said, "No, I don't. That's not what I like." In the middle of the prayer line, I said, "No, that's not what I want for myself, because I have to live with that person. And if I care for my body, I feel they should care for theirs." And he looked at me, and I walked away. I guess I have always been like a very focused person in my life, but even to the point of that, because even with the fanfare that's going on, with the, everything that's going on, the charismatic things that are going on in a religious setting, you still have to learn that God is giving you a walk. You don't walk along with everyone else. So there's a group of you all walking, and all of you are walking the same direction. Where does the individuality come in? Where does the growth come in? I can't move no further than the group. Where does that happen? How does that happen for you? What changes for you? And then, what is for you? What happened to that scripture? What God has for you, it's for you. What happens to that? What happened to all of that? And truly, it's in the intent. So, the intent of the entire circumstance, what your intent is, when you want to move forward in, now what do I do? Being stuck. Now what do I do? What is your intent? When I said to myself, I want to help other people, I had to readdress that maybe several years later and say, what is it that I really want to do for the people? Now, my step was, well, I'm going to do for them what I needed for somebody else. That's what I was going to do. Well, I had to sit down and readdress that and say, what is that other people need from me with my skills? What is it that other people need? That's what I had to ask myself, because if I served other people for what I didn't get service for, that doesn't mean it's for them. It means it's for me. And my intent is totally wrong. It's totally off. That's not what you were created for. That's not what the example of Confucius, Martin Luther King, Jesus even came here to do. They came to give examples of outside of yourself, using yourself to serve others. That's what it's all about. Outside of yourselves, using yourself to serve others. That's the bigger purpose. That is the strength that you gain happiness from. And yes, if you go for a business, or you're working in a business and it doesn't progress like you want to, you need to sit down and check yourself and say, am I doing this with the right intent? Am I serving? Am I doing things? Am I making friends? Am I networking with the right intent? I've learned down through the years working in real estate that if you don't have the right intention, when you network with someone, it will never work out. If you network with someone, if you befriend someone because, oh, they're like me, oh, we have a common tie, oh, I can use he or she to move me where I need to be. And that's mostly a lot of people who network. They network, oh, that's a great person to network with because I can get. I can use, but never the energetic connection that agrees with your spirit. When you have the right intent, when you become conscious of yourself, your actions, your speech, things that you hear and see, when you become mindful of that, consciously mindful, you will connect with people that are consciously mindful, have the same energy, have the same purpose. And you know what? You can be just as plain as you want to and say, girl, this is not working, or you talk too much. Calm it down, straighten that out. You're giving too much information. You're talking too much about yourself. No, it doesn't work like that. Get your butt in gear. When you can talk like that to an individual, whether it be in business or in a personal relationship, because that's really what it boils down to. Forget the business associates. It really boils down to personal relationship. How friendly are you with me? How conscious of are you with how I feel? How conscious are you with who I am? I've lost many friendships because they were not conscious of me, but I was conscious of them. And that makes a big difference. And when I said that, how conscious are you to say what you said to me if you knew me? When I'm very conscious of what I say to you because I know you. I didn't see my friend anymore. Wasn't anything that I said that was rude. That was nice. I didn't see my friends anymore, or my so-called friends, because I had moved another level, but they had stayed where they were, and they weren't conscious of who they really were, and they weren't conscious of who I really was. So even with networking, business, school, you have to be conscious of yourself and have the right intent. Now, the last thing is to know what you want. Simple, right? No, it's not simple. It takes constant focus. It takes unpacking the Pandora's box. And what I mean by that is, as women and some men, we actually pack our trunks. If you remember, when we were young, we had these trunks at the end of the bed, wish trunks. We pack them full of lies, of fabrications, and of fantasy. So at the foot of our bed is all of these lies, all of these fantasies that had nothing to do with your life, had nothing to do with what God wanted for you. So you have to take that trunk, open it up, take out all the